The monarchy just dropped a bombshell, and Queen Camilla is not taking it well. For decades, the royal family has leaned on tradition like a crutch, rarely shaking up the system. But that's changed. In the last few hours, a major internal decision has come to light, one that's ripped through Buckingham Palace like a lightning bolt. And it's got Camilla pacing the halls. At first glance, it looks like a routine reshuffle. Some patronages dropped, others reassigned. But if you zoom in, it's clear that this isn't just about trimming fat. It's about rewriting the monarchy's future. And some royals are clearly being edged out of the spotlight. At the center of the storm is Queen Camilla. Now, in her late 70s, she was expected to be a stable partner beside King Charles. But since Charles's health took a hit and he began undergoing cancer treatment, the weight of royal duty has shifted. Camilla, already stretched thin, is suddenly under pressure to take on more engagements, more speeches, more everything. And according to palace insiders, she's feeling it. Missed events, quiet health rumors, sharp questions from the public. Every stumble, no matter how small, is picked apart in the tabloids and online forums. And it's not just about her stamina, it's about her place in the system. Because here's the catch. This isn't just about who's doing the work, it's about who matters going forward. The review that set all of this in motion wasn't random. It was a deliberate move by King Charles to modernize the monarchy. Slim it down, make it more efficient, cut loose old ties. Nearly 200 charities and organizations that once proudly boasted royal patronage found themselves dropped, some of them after decades of association. And while Camilla did pick up some new roles, 15 in total, they were carefully curated, focused mainly on popular public causes like literacy and nursing. But the message was subtle and sharp. You're not being expanded into power, you're being managed, and that management seems to extend beyond her calendar. Camilla's role on the global stage is reportedly shrinking too. She was once expected to travel alongside Charles for diplomatic visits, helping project royal presence across the world. But insiders say her international appearances will be dialed back, if not completely cut. Her age, her health, and the shift in public sentiment all play a role. And in her place, William and Catherine, young, polished, and increasingly front and center. The comparison is brutal. Queen Elizabeth reigned for 70 years and almost never missed a public engagement. Her stoicism became the royal brand. Now, every time Camilla cancels an event, whether due to illness or exhaustion, it chips away at public confidence. Critics don't see a reasonable human being with limits. They see decline. And in a monarchy where perception is everything, decline is dangerous. Adding fuel to the fire is the mounting public frustration around money. The sovereign grant, which funds royal activities, has ballooned in recent years. Renovations at Buckingham Palace alone are costing hundreds of millions. At a time when people are struggling with inflation and job cuts, the idea of royals pulling back while spending more doesn't sit right. And Camilla, as queen, becomes the face of that contradiction, even if she doesn't write the checks. All of this has painted her into a corner, overworked, underappreciated, and now possibly being phased out quietly. The palace isn't saying it out loud, but the signs are everywhere. She's not seen as a long-term pillar of the monarchy, she's seen as a placeholder. And behind closed doors, sources say Camilla knows it. But she's not the only one affected. A royal veteran, someone who served the family with quiet loyalty for over half a century, is also being pulled into the wave of change. The Duke of Kent, a figure the public rarely sees, but who's been the backbone of countless military ceremonies and royal events, is stepping back too. And what that says about the bigger picture is worth paying attention to. Because this isn't just about Camilla or Kent, it's about power shifting hands. And the next chapter of that story, it's already unfolding. The Duke of Kent has always been one of those royal figures who moved in the shadows of history. Never flashy, never loud, but always there. At 88, Prince Edward has outlasted monarchs, prime ministers, and entire eras of British life. He's attended more military parades, remembrance services, and royal ceremonies than most people realize. But his quiet retirement from multiple roles marks the end of something bigger than just his own legacy. It's a signal that the old guard is stepping back, willingly or not, to make space for a completely restructured monarchy. For 50 years, the Duke served as Colonel of the Scots Guards, a position soaked in tradition and pride. He wasn't just a figurehead. He was present, rain or shine, at key military events, taking salutes, representing the crown with dignity. When he stepped down, it wasn't just ceremonial, it was generational. And that wasn't the only title he surrendered. His departure from the presidency of the Commonwealth War Graves Commission, a position he held for over 5 decades, further underlined the quiet dismantling of an era. Unlike others in the royal spotlight, the Duke didn't chase headlines. His life, though rooted in royal blood, was marked by service, not spectacle. Born in 1935, the Duke inherited his title after a tragedy. His father, Prince George, was killed in a wartime plane crash when Edward was just 6 years old. That moment carved a path for him, one of silent duty, not public glory. He grew up under the shadow of World War II, was commissioned into the army, served with the Royal Scots Greys, and retired as a lieutenant colonel. While others smiled for the cameras, the Duke's service was often felt more than seen. But service in the royal family is no longer enough. Today, everything is weighed, scrutinized, and measured for public value. That's the shift Charles is steering, and it's not subtle. The palace has made it clear that the royal household needs to be smaller, more efficient, more modern, and that vision leaves little room for aging royals, with historical significance but low media traction. The Duke of Kent's quiet step back was part of that cleanup. His health may have played a role, but the bigger force at work is the recalibration of what and who the monarchy needs to function today. He wasn't alone in facing the push. Other older royals have begun handing over duties, almost like a slow, strategic exit plan. Some titles are being retired completely. Others are being passed down or absorbed into the responsibilities of William and Catherine. The long game here is clear. Charles wants a monarchy that isn't bloated or bogged down in ceremonial repetition. He wants a system that runs lean and looks good doing it. But even this cleanup has unintended side effects. The withdrawal of figures like the Duke of Kent removes the quiet, unshakable presence that once gave the monarchy its sense of continuity. People may not have followed his every move, but they recognized his face at national events, respected his decades of dedication, and understood that not all royals needed to dazzle to be valuable. In trying to modernize, the palace risks losing that quiet layer of history and emotional grounding. And what fills the space they leave behind? Right now, it's increasingly Prince William, more visible than ever, more polished than ever, and stepping into shoes that aren't just Charles's, they're Philip's, the Duke of Kent's, and even the Queen's. But as he rises, there's more going on than public appearances and handshakes. Something deeper is shifting under the surface, and it's transforming how we see the man who will one day wear the crown. Prince William isn't just stepping into leadership, he's being sculpted into the monarchy's new backbone. Every speech, every overseas visit, every perfectly timed photograph with Catherine and the kids is part of a larger blueprint, a carefully designed image of stability, modernity, and quiet authority. And it's working. Public perception has already started to shift. Where Charles still carries the weight of controversy and Camilla the baggage of public doubt, William is increasingly seen as the clean slate, the fresh chapter. But what makes this rise more interesting is that it's not loud. William hasn't needed a dramatic moment to claim his space. Instead, he's built presence through consistency. As Duke of Cornwall, his management of the vast estate and its assets is already showing a more business-minded, hands-on approach. He's visited tenant farms, spoken with workers, and tried to understand the financial ecosystem of the duchy, not just for show, but to genuinely steer it forward. It's less about royal tradition, more about executive control. Catherine's role in this transformation can't be overstated either. She isn't just accompanying William, she's evolving alongside him. Her projects like Shaping Us, which focus on early childhood development, are calculated long-term plays. They're building her identity as someone who doesn't just smile and wave, but leads initiatives that matter. And the public eats it up. She's relatable, articulate, camera-friendly, and just royal enough to maintain mystique without seeming out of touch. Together, she and William are being positioned as the monarchy's power couple, not in the tabloid sense, but in a structural one. They're being trained and presented as the monarchy's reset button. This isn't accidental. With Harry and Meghan out of the picture, Andrew disgraced, and Charles facing health challenges, the royal family's options are thinning. William and Catherine aren't just filling in, they are the brand now. Their appearances are frequent. Their media coverage is tightly managed. Their children are slowly being introduced into the public narrative, adding a multi-generational appeal. Every piece fits. It's a monarchy being rebranded in real time. But here's the thing, the weight of the crown doesn't care about Instagram likes or soft diplomacy. Real power, even symbolic power, comes with strain. And for William, that strain is starting to show. He's balancing grief, pressure, legacy, and the unrelenting expectations of an institution trying to prove it still matters. Unlike his father or grandmother, he's doing it under the glare of a digital age, where every blink, every frown, every awkward photo becomes a viral moment or a conspiracy theory. And still, he moves forward, because whether the monarchy thrives or crumbles in the decades to come will depend on him more than anyone else. Camilla may fade, Charles may reign for a short time, the older royals are exiting, but William, he's the future. And everyone, from Buckingham Palace to Downing Street to the farthest Commonwealth corners, knows it. So while the headlines today might be about Camilla's frustration or Kent's quiet exit, the real story is unfolding with William and Catherine. They're not just inheriting